Subject: Jericho and Meltzer sitting in a tree. DI: Chris Jericho is now at Dave Meltzer in his podcast 6 times in the last 2 years. Do you think this is a you scratch my back or I scratch your situation? AKA Jericho has him on his podcast often to improve his match ratings. Was curious if you guys heard any stories in WCW guys talking to Meltzer and trading inside information for better match ratings. Both Tony Schiavone and Eric Bischoff accused Meltzer of doing so. Lastly, any news on what the American foreign wrestlers are supposed to do until they can work for New Japan again? They have to make a living somehow. Perhaps New Japan will let them work for Ring of Honor. Speaking of New Japan, Dick Togo sounds like a hand job of the week. Nothing. First of all, I had no idea that Jericho's had Meltzer on 6 times, but I think as a guest, like of all the dirt sheet guys, Dave Meltzer is easily the best guest.
Yeah, but
even Ryan Satin was a good guest because Dave is very opinionated and knows a lot of shit to talk about. Obviously, it's like if you're going
to not only that, they're friends because I'll never forget this. When Art Barr passed away, and this might have been in 93 to somewhere around there, 93, somewhere around there, early 90s. Yeah. And this was back when like hardly nobody would ever admit to reading The Observer. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was reading it, and in the very front page, there was a poem from Chris Jericho, The Love Machine, which is very touching. Yeah. And I was like, wow, Chris actually, he's friends with Dave, and he actually wrote a poem. So they've known each other for a long time.
Now, so the stories of guys talking to Meltzer and trading this information for better match ratings, that was always a belief, but I thought that too, but I have no evidence. Right. I never talked to Dave. I don't know who he talked to. That was kind of like the theory that everybody had. Guys talking about for trading for better match ratings, but I don't even know if that's even true, because I don't know you would have to literally like go back and like have records of conversations and then the next week's match ratings and stuff. They'd do like it would be like some impossible amount of research to do to see if that's actually what happened. But I and a lot of people always believe that. But like I said, without evidence. But I'm just assuming that's the way it worked.
There was
because I don't have like his Conan talked to Dave, but like Conan never got 5 stars.
I can tell you this. This is my experience with him. I always felt that he was very honest. I always felt that he had a lot of information that could really bury a lot of people, and he never brought it out. He could have really been malicious, and he withheld a lot of information just out of decency, bro. The other thing is, I would say everything that he ever wrote about me, and there were a lot of times when he said the match sucked,
Well,
and I had to take it because it did. So I never saw him be unfair with me or give me wow, he gave me extra. Yeah.
Because here's my question specifically about that.
Yeah.
Did you think that more often would he give you a lower rating on a match that you thought was good, or a higher rating on a match that you didn't really like that much? Which way would that trend?
I respected his opinion, bro. I just thought that, I just never really was into ratings. I was more like, myself, this is how I looked at a match. Even though for him, work rate was very high, I always felt that you had to include audience participation and enthusiasm. And I always felt, just like you, that anytime I went out there, the audience participated, they were enthusiastic, and they were entertained by what I did, even if the hardcore workers, weren't. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I rated my matches. So Here's
how I rated mine. And like I said, crowd reaction, period. If I didn't get a crowd reaction, I'd be like, I wonder if I'm getting are they burying me too much? You would always worry if you didn't get a crowd reaction.
Right.
Especially on a show that the crowd reactions were good. You can probably count on 5 fingers the amount of times I did not get a good crowd reaction on a show where crowd reactions were good. I had an easy gimmick to respond to, right? But I didn't really,
But you had an easy gimmick, but it's more than that. You knew how to work it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? By the way, I'm a big fan of the Dick Togo hand job. That might be thrown in there.
Plus, but I'm going to answer the last question, bro. When COVID subsides, we're not going to know anything until COVID subsides. That's the future of the wrestling business.